Hello, this APS snippet is about Porter's five forces. Porter's five forces is a market analysis tool to help us better understand the competitive forces within an industry or those that affect a supplier. For the purpose of this snippet, I'm going to talk about a made-up company called McBurger. Please assume that McBurger are a global fast food restaurant. They have the market share. Here we can see the Porter's five forces model. The five forces are competitive rivalry, threat of new entrants, threat of substitutes, power of the buyer, and power of the supplier. So thinking about conducting a five forces analysis on McBurger, let's start with competitive rivalry. Competitive rivalry is about understanding the amount of competition in the marketplace. So for McBurger, there is going to be competition. There's other fast food outlets, other burger chains, organisations selling fried chicken. So there is competition in the marketplace, and probably quite a lot. This suggests that the marketplace is either perfect competition or monopolistic competition. And if there's competition in the marketplace, this is a healthy thing. This means that McBurger have to be keen and fair on their prices if they want to win business. The next force that we'll look at is the threat of new entrants. So thinking about McBurger, are there likely to be new entrants coming into the marketplace that are going to be likely to mean competition for this global leader in fast food? Yes, there's a likelihood of new entrants coming into the market. It's very easy, relatively speaking, to set up a fast food restaurant. But the likelihood of a new fast food restaurant coming to the marketplace, going global, and taking business from McBurger that's significant enough to trouble them is not really likely. So McBurger are not going to be concerned about the threat of new entrants. The next force is the threat of substitutes. Here we consider how likely is it that a new product or service will substitute the current supply. So thinking about McBurger, how likely is it that something is going to come into the marketplace that replaces fast food, that replaces burgers, so people aren't going to want to go and grab a cheeky burger at lunchtime? That's not very likely in the current climate. So the threat of substitutes, again, is low. McBurger are quite happy. They don't need to worry about new entrants. They don't need to worry about substitutes. Moving on now to the power of the buyer. So the power of the customer, the consumer. This is about how much power the buyer has compared to the supplier. The supplier in this case is McBurger. So if we go into a McBurger restaurant and we ask for a burger, some fries, a milkshake, and maybe a donut, McBurger staff tell us that it will be £20, $20, however much it is. What chance is there that we can haggle, we can negotiate with the staff? Do we have the power to do that? Does McBurger need our business that much that they're going to reduce the price? No, of course they're not. If we don't buy that burger, someone else will. So we don't have the power in this situation. So the final force is the power of the supplier, in this situation, McBurger. So how much power does McBurger have over the consumer, the buyer? So as I've just demonstrated, McBurger don't massively need my business, your business. They've got hundreds of thousands of millions of people probably buying their burgers on a daily basis. So they don't need to reduce their prices to gain business. There will always be a steady flow of consumers. So when we're looking at the power of the supplier, yes, they have much more power than the buyer has in this situation. So that's a brief summary of Porter's five forces, looking at the competitive rivalry, the threat of new entrants, the threat of substitutes, the power of the buyer, and the power of the supplier. By understanding these 5 competitive forces, you can create a strategy to work with the industry or to work directly with a specific supplier.